The other thing I had here was it is like that classic saying of the harder you work, the luckier you get.
Yeah.
Because this guy he was immersed. You couldn't be kicking up more dust than what this guy was kicking up on a daily basis.
Creating a dust storm, this guy, yeah, seriously.
And every single one of those, bits of dust was a chance at just finding another connection, meeting someone else, encountering a weird situation that just ends up going to some extraordinary place. And effectively that is what ended up happening at the coalescing of all these bits of dust to the meat of Banksy. So it was almost like he was just playing the ground for connections. He was doing like the internship, for a number of years there, and just getting himself on a platform that he could really launch from later on.
Yeah. Now he's rich.
Well, maybe he's a visionary. He's he was strategic the entire time. And it was, that kind of masquerade that he had as being a videographer was all just part of the story, part of the strategy.
Yeah, it's kind of a good thing. It's like a good example of like, do something for free if you love it and you think,
This is it, mate. Give back. Give back. It's strange what comes back when you give to something, particularly something that you're interested in. Therefore, you're going to give it a go. You're going to enjoy doing it yourself. You probably go back and do it again. There's something about that. I'm not going to kind of point it on good karma, but there's something in that.
Yeah. What is the takeaway from this? That Banksy kind of, just to close out on Thierry. What's your takeaway from this, watching this film? There's something extremely fascinating about this movie. What is it that you take away from it if you're going to distill it
down? Honestly, mate, it's pursue your passion. But I think more so than that is if you go before that pursuing of the passion, it's like he was just had this weird quirk, this guy, about filming things. And so he started filming things. And so he recognized that it was something that he enjoyed. So he started getting involved in it more. He started finding out other ways that he could express that or do that or get involved in that. And it just kind of steps its way along. And I think that can be applied to anything, really. If you're a surfer, I'm sure you could do the same thing. You just go find different breaks. If you're really obsessed, you can go on a holiday and go surfing in famous beaches around the world. You've obviously got to have a level of skill so that you don't break your back or worse. But there's something in that.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Like if you kind of push hard enough into something, you'll find some way to make it work. Perhaps you can't be like too obsessed with money or something like that, but you'll find a way to kind of make something of it. I mean, this kind of follow your passion thing is a tricky, nuanced piece of advice, but in this instance, it seems to be true in some way, because I don't think he really cared too much until he started making this art, whether he was going to be successful or not.
And that's the question I've got is, I wonder, fast forward to today from, when the film first started, if he was still just running around after all these graffiti artists still doing the same thing. I could probably see him still doing that. I don't know,
Yeah, me too.
And so he probably would just be enjoying it just as much. And so I think that's the kind of bit there is you would have to be comfortable with that as a result. And probably the reality is if you were giving that even a bit of thought, the chances you probably don't fit in that bracket, because the passion isn't compelling enough.